We are in the finals of the winners bracket at the American Cup. It's world's number 2, Hikaru Nakamura, who's playing in his first game with the white pieces against Fabiano Caruana, world's number 4. And this is what's supposed to be a really exciting match. Two of America's best players playing against each other. Let's have a look at this game, what's going to happen. And well, I have some other things I would like to discuss with you at the end of the video. So let's first discuss this game, as Hikaru starts with the move 1d4, d5, c4, e6, and after knight f3, knight f6, there's this move g3, the Catalan opening, which is what Hikaru had been playing in his earlier rounds of the American Cup, also against Mishra and against Dominguez. But this time, Caruana goes not for the move bishop e7, which is the solid main line, but he goes for the open Catalan by taking on c4, bishop g2, and now knight c6, and the queen comes out to a4 with the idea of regaining the pawn very soon. But there is bishop b4 check. That's of course one of the main ideas of placing the knight on c6. So the knight supports this bishop. Bishop interferes, the check, bishop d2. And here the main continuation is actually to play knight d5 to support that bishop even better. There's a lot of theory. Over 3,000 of games have been played with this line. Bishop d6 is actually a nice little twist. Has not been seen that often at the highest level. But it has certainly an idea to prevent the knight from jumping to the e5 square, as this bishop covers the e5 square. And another major point of this retreat of the bishop is that if you do take the pawn, Black can actually play the move e5. That is one of the key ideas, like you're supporting this pawn break so that you enable the bishop, the light squared bishop, to be developed. And Black is actually quite good shape. So White is not going to take the pawn on c4 with the queen, but instead castled here. Now it's important to realize that e5 is premature because of taking the pawn, and the knight on c6 is unable to recapture. It is pinned. So here things go horribly wrong for Black, but instead you can castle, of course, with the same idea that queen takes c4 can be met with the move e5, and Black is doing quite okay. Now we understand Black's main idea of playing the move e5. White decided here to play the move bishop c3. That's an interesting idea. It looks a bit odd to place this bishop on the square where you normally would get your knight to, but it certainly makes sense. And interestingly, this position was reached in the game between Carlsen and Ponomariov. I think it was a blitz game actually. In that game, the move knight d5 was played with the idea to come over to b6 with a knight. But Caruana obviously has studied this line, and he comes up with a small improvement by playing the move a6. And of course, we often see this move in the Catalan with the idea to play b5 to hang on to the pawn on c4. But also here in this case, you're gaining even the tempo by hitting the queen. So White doesn't have much of a choice and decided here to take on c4 the pawn. And what is Black going to do? I mean, White has managed to prevent the pawn break with e5. So Black's position looks a bit cramped. And especially that's usually the main problem of Black in those openings. You would like your bishop to be on the long diagonal to contest White's powerful bishop over there. But here, nice little tactical solution. It is the move b5. You can play this move. You can attack the queen, and you're hanging the knight on c6, which was captured in the game. But there is this move, bishop to d7, very important resource. You're attacking the queen and you're protecting the rook in the corner. And here we look at the position, we see that the queen doesn't have that many squares to go to. It can in fact only go to b7, but there is a rook to b8, and well, there's queen takes pawn, so you're up a piece and a pawn, but the queen can't go anywhere. It is rook a8, attacking the queen, queen b7, rook b8, and there's queen a7. And it was a repetition of moves. After only half an hour of play in this classical game, the players agreed to a draw in the position after rook b8. And well, what can we say about this game? It's not as exciting as we hoped it would be. Obviously, instead of taking the knight, white could also have moved the queen somewhere else. Let's say queen d3 is a possibility just to keep the game going. But after bishop b7, it looks as if black is doing quite okay here, as very soon the plan is going to be to bring up the c-pawn after moving the knight away. More or less an even game. But here, this is one of the bigger problems with classical chess, especially at the very top. I'm not talking about amateur play. We can always create fantastic games. But at the very top, especially in match format, whether it's a World Championship match or just here at the American Cup, it's a mini match of two classical games. What you see is that players, they don't mind making short draws. And basically, the classical games are not as exciting as the games with a shorter time control, like the Rapid or either the Blitz or even Armageddon play. And I feel like this is like a waste of days, like why we are looking at these classical games when there are so many short draws. This is not the only example. And I don't want to blame the players. There are players who take risks. And if the format is like this, well, you understand. But I would like to reach out to tournament organizers and make the following proposal. And I think I've been mentioning it earlier, maybe not here on the channel, but what I do think would be good for classical play, especially in match format, is to play the tie breaks before the classical games. Like you play the rapid section, or even if that's tied, you move on to the blitz section, you determine who's the winner. And that basically says that the loser of the shorter time control will be forced to take more risk in the classical section. And I think it has never been tried at serious tournaments play. I don't even know any serious example with this particular idea. But I do think it makes a lot of sense, because if these classical games in the current form, if it continues like this, why we are looking at it, there are so many draws, people are not willing to take any risk, not to put any rating points on the line. Also, especially players like Hikaru, they know they will excel in shorter time control. So it's very understandable from the player's perspective that they are not spending too much time, as it's so difficult to prove any advantage in classical play. Whereas in Blitz and Rapid, of course, there's more freedom to try things out. I would like to see that in classical chess, in tournament play, even in the World Championship match. I give you another example. World Championship match 2016, Magnus Carlsen against Sergei Karyakin in New York. There was this tie after 11 games. And the players, they go to game 12 with a lot of people are watching. And well, you hope that something dramatic is going to happen, but instead Magnus, with the white pieces, decided to make just a very boring draw in about 20 minutes against Sergei Karyakin, and the match moved to the blitz, to the rapid, to the tiebreaks, to the rapid and blitz section. Of course, Magnus demonstrated his class over there, and it was fine. It's a good strategy, and he basically repeated the same strategy 2 years later in his World Championship match with Fabiano Caruana. He got a better position in actually a very sharp game, Sicilian Sveshnikov, in the final game of the World Championship match, classical game. And there, Magnus decided that a draw is actually fine. He just agreed to a draw in a better position, believing that his chances to win in the tiebreaks were just much higher than winning that particular game with classical time control. And that really shows that classical chess is under serious pressure, and I think something needs to be done. And I cannot emphasize it enough. It's not about amateur play. I think personally for me, classical chess is really nice. I enjoy it. I also enjoy rapid play and other forms of chess like freestyle and blitz. But I think at the very top, if we want to get to see more excitement from these classical games, the format need to be adjusted a bit. And I would like to see this experiment with moving the tiebreaks to be played first, and then the winner of this tiebreaks has a little advantage in classical play, and that will create new dynamics for classical games. Players will take more risk. We get to see more exciting games. And yeah, I think that is what chess really needs at some point. I don't want to say classical chess is dead, but now we are actually not watching the American Cup, but we are watching the American tiebreak cup. And yeah, I don't think that is what is good for chess. So let me know, please, in the comments, what do you think of this proposal? Of course, there are a lot of other ideas which can be thought about, and I'm open to discuss these things here with you. And well, I hope that actually I will be proven wrong. That in the second game of this match between Caruana and Nakamura, we may get to see a very exciting game where Fabi is going to press really hard. So yeah, let's find out what is going to happen in their next game. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see a rather uneventful game with a relatively short draw. But I hope I will be proven wrong. Anyway, hope it was clear that this is actually, well, it's the final, but the loser of this match still gets a chance to play against the winner of the losers bracket, and the winner of that game will play against the winner of the of this final between Hikaru and Fabiano. I hope you can still follow me, but anyway, there are still more games to be covered about this American Cup, but well, hope to have opened up the discussion and looking forward to hear from you. And well, if you do like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for everything. See you soon. Bye bye.